All right, it's time to get this party started, folks. Hey, happy Friday to you out there in the interwebs land, Facebook land, YouTube land, wherever you might be watching this. So big opportunity right now, but something that we have to be careful about. So I wanted to make sure that we do this the right way. When we're talking about cash out refinances, this is something that people got addicted to. This is something that caused problems in the past. So that's why we want to make sure that we're doing this the right way. And when I say that is, it's okay to do a cash out refinance. It's always okay to do a cash out refinance if you have the right preparation and you're doing it for the right reasons. So, your house is not an ATM machine, of course, but in the past, that's how people have used it. And we want to make sure we're not doing that. However, I want to particularly talk about the VA cash out refinance. You can do cash outs with other types of loans. You can do FHA cash outs. You can do conventional cash outs. You can even do jumbo cash outs. You can do investment property cash out loans. The terms just aren't very good. They're just not good. So those would be more of a, not a desperate, but more of a, man, I really need to do this for some reason. I really got a debt I have to pay off. I really owe someone money. I really need to buy out my ex or whatever type of cash out situation. Whereas with the VA home loan, if you have a VA loan or if you're VA eligible, regardless of what kind of loan you have now, if you're VA eligible, you can use that benefit to do 100% cash out refinance. Potentially, you don't need to go to 100%. You could go 90%, 80%. You can go wherever, but you can go up to 100% cash out. Why this is so powerful? There's so many things you can do because right now, for people who own their home and like their home and want to stay in their home, they're not looking to sell. They're not looking, they have no reason to really be interested in the fact that prices have gone up so much in the marketplace. This is where you can really take advantage of it. So you can really take advantage of prices going up if you're VA eligible by looking at how could I cash out this loan, get super low rates in the twos. Even people who just have average credit, if you have a 640 credit, you can get in the twos on a VA cash out, even high balance, which is over 510, 400, so up to $2 million. So you've got really, really good opportunities there, and we charge no fees at Align Mortgage. So something to keep in mind. I should actually put up my phone over there in case if you have questions, call, text me. I'm happy to run through scenarios with you anytime. That's my cell phone number on the screen there, my NMLS 155010. So what would you do? Why would you do a cash out? Derrick, why are you telling people about cash out refinances? Well, a couple things. Number one, just this week, I've helped several people who are doing VA cash outs that are consolidating a lot of bad debt. So a lot of bad debt, high interest debt, the kind of debt that's designed to stay around forever and never leave you alone and keep you paying interest essentially forever. That's the kind of debt paid off. I have one gentleman who's paying off every single debt he has. I actually have done that twice in recent times, paying off every single other debt just to have one payment. There's something that helps people sleep at night about that. There's also something that is really financially efficient about that, to know that you just have one payment. But you have to be responsible with it. You can't go out and create those new debts and just get yourself in the same situation. So that's what I mean by doing it the right way. So consolidating debts is something that can definitely be done, right now with the VA cash out. Consolidate all debts. You can save a ton of money in cash flow. And the reason why that's helpful, some people will say, well, look at the math. You may pay more in the long run if you do it that way. You would only if you did it very irresponsibly. If you do it responsibly and correctly, you'll pay way less in the long run, and you'll increase your cash flow now, which allow you to invest in other things, purchase other things, have more savings on hand for retirement, etc. So there's a lot that you can do just from a debt standpoint. There's other opportunities too. So remember, appraised values right now, whether you realize it or not, homes are selling for a lot. So your house is worth a lot more on paper right now than you probably realize. You can take advantage of that when you do refinance, because the value of your home with respect to the loan amount is a very important factor when you refinance. It's very, very important in all loan types. It's not as important with the VA because, as we said, we can go up to 100%. Something else that people are doing, and I'm going to do a whole layout on this. I've got some examples that are coming on this, and I'm going to lay this out and do a whole video on ADUs. If you have a big enough lot to do an ADU, you can do a cash out refinance, take advantage of the VA loan, 100% cash out, right? And you can finance the ADU potentially through that if you have enough equity, and build an ADU. And I have the solution for that, turnkey everything. Build an ADU on your property and make it an incredible no-brainer. I'll give you a quick example that's rough, but increasing the mortgage payment to get the cash out by $400 or $500 a month, building an ADU you can rent for $1,500 a month. See where I'm going with this? So you're investing that $500 a month over here and getting $1,500 over here. It's $1,000 difference. It also increases the value of the property significantly more than what it costs to construct. So you've got a double win there. So the ADU is another good opportunity. Here's another one. You can take the money out, diversify your investments. Obviously, you can invest in Bitcoin, stocks, whatever else you want. But you can also invest in other property. And you can diversify your location as well if you're worried about a California exodus, for example. I'm on a license in California, so I can only help you there. But if you're worried about a California exodus, you say, hey, you know what? I like our place here, but I want to have investment properties in the Midwest. I want to buy everybody's going to Indianapolis. I'm looking in Ohio, Oklahoma, Iowa, these different places where you can get multi-units. Missouri, my home state, the real estate values. If you take the time right now to go and look on Zillow and just look at what houses cost in Idaho and Montana and Iowa and Missouri, you'd be shocked. You'd really be shocked because like some of these prices, we expect them here in California, especially in San Diego. But when you see some of the prices in some of these other places, you go, what in the world is going on? Something's got to give here at some point, folks. It really does. San Diego, I'm very bullish about, but some of these other places, they don't have the beach. They don't have the sun. In fact, they have crappy weather most of the time. Not a lot going on. Don't get it. San Diego makes sense. St. Louis doesn't. Sorry, my St. Louisans. But, so that's something that we have going on right now is the opportunity to diversify. So you pull out cash. I have a guy right now, such a genius, this guy. Still active military. He's got a lot of years in. He's been buying houses and living in them and doing cash outs and buying other houses. He now has 14 units. He's bought all these homes in the Midwest for between 25 and 30 grand and put 20 to 30 grand into them. So he's into these houses for like 60 to 65 grand. And they rent for like $750 a month. But he's doing it all with cash, so he has no loans on those properties. So he owns those properties free and clear and has pure cash coming in. Talk about a retirement plan. Genius. What a genius. And he's just done it slowly, one at a time. As he's had equity, he does the VA cash out loan, takes that money, goes and buys and rehabs another property in an area where he knows he can get solid rent. So the cash out, I think, has always been thought of as a home improvement type thing. Hey, and there's another thing you can do with it if you want to improve your property, if you need to update things, if you want to really deck it out, if you're like, hey, you know what, we are really happy here, we don't want to go anywhere. That also could be a time where you go, you know what, there's things we want to do to the house. We really do want a pool. We really do need to update everything. We bought the house, it was dated, it's been 10 years, it's really dated now. Sometimes it's more difficult to come up with cash for stuff like that. So a good time to do it when property values are high, refinance, get the money cheap, be locked in, fixed, and then do what you need to do with the property. So it's a good time to do that as well. But I think that's what traditionally people have thought about. Cash out refinances, debt consolidation, home improvements. People haven't really thought about reinvestments. People haven't really thought about what actually can you do to leverage an ADU opportunity. I know a lot of people want to do ADUs. I know a lot of people are interested in the numbers for ADUs, but how do you do it? The big barrier between you and an ADU is most likely the financing. Sometimes your property won't fit. If you have a small lot, if you have a lot that's tricky, it ain't gonna happen. But if you have a lot that works, the barrier between you and an ADU most likely is financing. So a cash out refinance is a great way to do it. This is something I really want to help, especially my veteran homeowners, active duty homeowners. I really want to help get this figured out for you because here's an opportunity to really add value to the property and add to your cash flow. And we all know, especially if you're active duty, you could be gone tomorrow. They could send you wherever they want, whenever they want, right? So if that happens, the best opportunity for you to be in a position to succeed is to have a more diverse income opportunity. Now, there's some people who are house hacking right now. House hacking is, when you rent out the rooms. So you live in the master and you rent out the other 3 or 4 bedrooms and you get your mortgage covered and you're living for free. And that's an awesome way if you're active duty to, get some of your buddies out of the barracks, right? And cover some costs, give them a good deal, give them a home, give them a house, but you still have that feel, the camaraderie of being together with your homies. And it's a great deal for the person who owns the home. So that's house hacking. And it's also easy to replace, if you get shipped out or if you get PCS or whatever, you just have one room to rent out and you're really cash flowing at that point. So the house hack is good and definitely works. Now imagine if you can add an ADU to that situation, because some of these ADUs are 2-3 bedrooms. They don't have to be huge. I mean, 800 or 900 square foot ADUs can be 3 bedrooms. And getting these executed is not as difficult as it once was. There are a lot of resources out there that will tell you, hey, this is how it works. Here's the list, checklist. Here's the permits you need to apply for. But I've got actual, soup to nuts, cradle to grave, whatever. Is that a euphemism that you like? I've got the resources for that. And I'm going to go into detail of that later. But these are just things I want to plant seeds because this opportunity does not last forever. It seems like it might, but it doesn't. And right now, the formations we're seeing in rates kind of lead us to believe that, maybe there's going to be higher rates, here in the near term, which could last for 2-3 months. Who knows? I think a lot of people are going to kind of be holding off. As we get closer to the election, you're going to see a lot of freezing going on. This happened 4 years ago where people just sort of pulled back and went, you know what? I'm going to sit tight for a couple months, see what happens. People are going to be in wait and see mode. And while that's okay, and there's nothing wrong with that, of course, it does affect things. It will change things. So a hot opportunity right now to get your home appraised for refinance, if you're VA eligible, to be able to utilize the VA cash out to consolidate debts, improve the home, build the pool, reinvest money in other areas, buy other real estate, add an ADU to the property. I mean, there's so many things you can do. You don't have to be on the sidelines for this. A lot of homeowners feel like, man, this is just making my taxes go up. Property value is going crazy like this. I don't want this. But you have to recognize the opportunity that resides within it. And that is what the opportunity is. Now, it may not make sense for you. It may not. I'm not telling you, go do this. All I'm saying is think about it. Consider it. Do you have a need? Is there something coming up that might be a need? Do you have the desire to diversify your portfolio? Do you have the desire to improve your property? Do you have the desire to create an ADU and an amazing investment property down the road? Because what's cool about that, you put the ADU on it. Now, if this isn't your forever home, you go and you buy your forever home, and now you have a multi-unit investment property. Those are extremely valuable in this marketplace. There's so few of them. There's so few of them. And that ADU can also be considered as and used as a granny flat, which a lot of people will use it as, and understandably so. That's one of the main reasons why, these additional units were created in the first place. Mother-in-law quarters, granny flat, whatever you want to call it. So there's so many possibilities in a market like this. I just want to plant the seed of possibilities and make sure that you're not just sitting there, with your head down going, well, this doesn't affect me. There's nothing I can do with this. This doesn't help me at all. It might actually. So let's think about it. Let's digest this. Let's make sure, hey, let's share this. Let's share this right now. Just push the share button. Make sure that people are thinking appropriately. Make sure that you're not just head in the sand with what's going on here. And if you have questions about VA home loan benefit, a quote that you've gotten from another lender or anything like that, reach out to me. Give me a call. Shoot me a text at the number on the screen. I'm here to help. That's what I'm here for. It's what I do. It's what gets me up in the morning. Things like what happened yesterday. I've got so many stories. A veteran was actually in escrow on a property, canceled, thank God, because the loan they were getting was terrible. It's terrible. There were points, the rate was high, and yeah, their credit's not great, 639. But, we can get them a 3% with no fees, no points. Saves them thousands and thousands of dollars out of pocket and then recurring on the monthly payment going forward. Tons of money. Another client recently, this one just funded. This one, they were in contract on the deal. It was up in Riverside County, and they were with a very big name lender who was really, not, I wouldn't say egregiously charging them, but they were charging them fees, and their terms weren't great, and ultimately they miscalculated some things. At the end of the day, we did it right, and the borrower who was told they were going to have to bring $15,000 additional dollars on top of their deposit to closing ended up with a credit to their deposit with us. So thousands and thousands of dollars in that active duty family's pocket. And that's what wakes me up in the morning, is knowing that those things are happening out there and that I can come in and intervene and save the day. We all want to be a hero, right? We want to save the day. If I can financially save the day when it comes to the VA loan, I can. And that's why I'm here and why I do what I do. So let's not put our head in the sand on the cash out and what's happening in the marketplace. Think about it, look at it, pass if it doesn't make sense. If everything's all good, then sit on it. No worries. But think about it, because if you have a need, there might not be a better time than right now to take advantage of it. All right, thanks for tuning in, folks. Got to get back to the grind. Have an amazing Friday, a terrific weekend, and I'll see you soon.